video, I'll be sharing with you the updated version of the 20 Concentrix interview questions and tips for newbies and veterans at the same time. So, over a year ago when I posted a video similar to this, and I figured out I have to create an updated version because when I played that video, specifically question number 6, I believe I have an updated tips regarding how you can nail that particular question. So make sure to stay tuned and watch this video until the end because you will be learning a lot from this topic. And same drill, these questions are the questions that was asked to me when I applied at Concentrix. So as you would know, I've been part of Concentrix as well for over 8 months. So yes, without further ado, let's begin. So I actually reversed the questions in here. I started with question number 20 because not every one of you can reach the question number 20 because some will feel like it's a boring content and things like that. So I started with question number 20, which is, do you have questions for me? So I'll go directly with my tips on how you can nail this part. So it will be not so time consuming, really. So yes, I have to start by saying you have to always prepare for at least one question to be asked to your interviewer, and you don't have to worry because I'll be giving you 2 possible questions that you may ask your interviewer in case this question will be asked you. And normally this question is actually asked at the end part of your interview process. So sample question number 1 is, if I pass this interview today, when can I start? So this is the actual answer that I've given my interviewers. So if you wanna copy this, then that's fine. And the second sample question is, when will I submit my requirements? So this is a way for the interviewer to kind of feel that you are super interested and super willing to be part of the company. Now, let's proceed to question number 19. And the question is, what will be your reasons in leaving this job? So this is like a tough question to answer, but I'll go ahead and give you my tips and tricks on how to nail this part. So tell your interviewer that leaving this job can be close to impossible because your dream is to land this job. So I get to receive a lot of PMs or direct messages coming from those aspiring call center agents who wanted to become part of the industry. And I can sense that they really wanted to be part of the company or to be part of this industry. And I feel like it's really close to impossible to let go of the job once you've been part of one. So this is for those who feel like it's so hard to be part of the company. Most of them, when they land a job, they will not leave the company, not unless they have some of these reasons I'll be giving in the second advice or second tip. Says, if you want to be specific with your answer, come up with these 3 valid reasons to leave a job. You don't have to tell all of these 3. One of the 3 reasons can be the reason. Okay, first is old age. If you're a senior citizen already, but mind you guys, in my experience, there are still people who are working in this industry even if they're in their late 60s, even early 70s. I know one. And then second is accident, making you incapable of doing physical work. So this is like worst case scenario. Number 3 is if the company no longer needs you or you don't feel valued anymore. So why would you stay if you are no longer needed, right? Alright, proceed with question number 18. How long is your travel time? So I have 3 tips and tricks to nail this part. So the first one is be honest with your answer. Provide the approximate time it takes for you to travel from your house to the office. Is it 1 hour, 30 minutes? be specific. So if you're living close to the office, that's an advantage, yes, but make sure to provide a reassuring statement that you'll never be late because you live close by. So we have a tendency wherein if we live nearby, we may end up coming late because we're like super kind of what you think of that. Composed or parang kumbinsido ka na okay, hindi ako malilate, malapit lang naman ako, and you end up being late. So I hope you won't do that. The third tip is if you're living far from the office, make sure to provide reassuring statement that you're more than willing to adjust or even relocate if necessary. So if you're living in Laguna and you have to go here in Manila for work, then you may need to relocate. So yeah, you can, state something like that. And if you want me to create sample answers of these, I'll be happy to do so for you. Although I created one already before, but I think I may need to update my answers in those as well. So question number 17, are you willing to work during holidays? Tips and tricks is this. Remember that in this industry, our clients are based abroad, and so their holidays may be different from ours except Christmas. Therefore, it is required for us to go to work even if it's holiday here in the Philippines. So the answer is yes. And don't feel sad about this because if it happens that the holiday falls under your work off, then you're not required to go to work. Plus, your company offers double pay or 30% more of your pay during these special days. So, di ka nalugi. Alright, on to question number 16. Are you amenable to work during rest day if needed? So, can you comply and be present at work if you need to? So I have here tips and tricks to nail this part. So to pass this behavioral interview question, you must say yes, even if you don't feel like saying yes to this. Okay, if you want to pass lang naman, but if not, then you may say no. Okay, so don't worry too much about this question because this request rarely happens, and if it does, this is called rest day overtime, or we call it RDAT, and your pay in a day is doubled, and if it falls on a holiday that you rendered an RDOT, the pay can be tripled. Okay, if you want me to explain this in detail, I can. Just comment down below. And question number 15, are you comfortable to render an overtime? So, tips and tricks to nail this question. This is another behavioral type of question, and if you want to pass this question, say yes, even if you feel like not rendering an overtime at all. And in my experience, rendering an overtime can indeed happen, especially if the business has strong demand for it due to lack of staffing, due to absences, tardiness, etc. That's why it's important in any BPO company for you to be present all the time because the staffing can be affected if you are absent or if you are tardy. Next is don't feel too sad though because this is also paid and sometimes they have OT hypes or there is a way to politely refuse an offer, especially if you have a valid reason for declining it. So yes, your overtime is not OTY. Because it's paid, it is going to be filed by your team leader, and there are also overtime hires wherein you get additional, let's say 100 pesos for every hour rendered, things like that. And you can say no also if you really don't want to render an overtime. Next question is, are you comfortable working in shifting schedule? Now, allow me to give you tips and tricks regarding this and somehow explain as well what this is all about. So shifting schedule means that your schedule changes, like the time you go to work or your work off may change too. So the explanation is this. For example, if your work off before is Saturday and Sunday, it can change to Thursday and Friday. Or if your regular schedule is 7 p.m. to 4 a.m., it may change to 12 midnight until 9 a.m. So split offs can happen too. When you say split off, instead of having a Thursday and Friday day off, it could be Thursday and Sunday. That's you call split off, okay? But this again rarely happens. And yes, you have to understand that this is part of the business. So if you want to be part of this industry, you need to answer yes to this question, even if you're not really in favor of this. Now, question number 13, are you willing to work night shift? Tips and tricks to nail this part is the answer to this question should always be a yes. We need to understand that our clients live internationally, so there is a 12 to 13 hour difference in their time zones versus ours. So night differential between 20% to 25% is waiving. So there are always perks to all of these, so don't feel sad really. And then it is noteworthy to remember though that there are morning shifts too. It depends on the account you'll be handling. Okay, so wag kayo malungkot ng sobra. Char. Alright, question number 12. Are you still with me? Comment down below if yes, because I wanted to say thank you so much. Are you bored or not yet? Not really. Okay, so 12 is why did you leave your previous job? This can be a tricky or difficult question, so I'm gonna give you tips and tricks to nail this part. And the first tip is this. This is applicable to those who had job experience. If you don't have any, skip this part. Newbie, you may skip this part, please. And mention the real reason as to why you left your previous job, but don't provide any information that can ruin you or your previous company's reputation. You may end up not getting the job offer if you do otherwise. So never ever badmouth your previous company. Alright, good. Now, question number 11. Do you see yourself 5 years, or how do you see yourself 5 years from now? Pardon about the background noise, guys. Okay, so tips and tricks to nail this question is this. This question is asked to gauge your loyalty to a certain company or organization. If you want to nail this part, make sure to have a clear vision of what you want to become in the years to come. And you must still be part of the company by then, by the way. And if you're aiming for promotion, go for it. You may mention that. Provide specific department you want to be part of. Do you want to be part of the training, management, or back office? You may mention any highlight about your career and personal life by then as well. Okay? Now, question number 10, can you work under pressure? Tips and tricks to nail this part is this. Any type of work has pressure attached to it. So you must say yes to this question. But do not just say yes. You also have to tell them how you can overcome pressure at work. For example, do the job regardless of how complex it may seem, or learn to blend in with your environment. Question number 9, want to make sure this is done so quickly. What are your weaknesses? So tips and tricks to nail this part. Number 1 is, as human beings, we all have weaknesses. So you may mention one weakness you have that may affect your job, but make sure to provide the steps you're taking to not dwell on that weakness. So example of possible weakness you may have are as follows. Shyness, that's my weakness. Number 2, perfectionism, or you being so perfectionist. Number 3 is over-explaining. Things like that, okay? So any weakness that you may have. Question number 8, what are your strengths? Tips and tricks to nail this part is this. Share at least one major strength that you have that you think is vital to the role you're applying for. Note, don't say God is my strength or my family is my strength, because yes, they can be source of strengths, but that is not what your interviewer wants to hear from you, okay? And example of possible strength you may have are as follows: good command of the English language, adaptability, or willingness to learn or be mentored. Next question is number 7. Do you have plans to take your board exam? This is a question that was asked to me. So tips to nail this question. This is asked to those college graduates that has board exams or licensure examinations. So if you're not one of those, you may skip this part, please. And if you have plans to take your board exam, make sure to provide reassuring statement that you don't have plans to do it just yet, as your main priority is to land a job and be part of this industry, even if you really have plans to take your board exam in the next 6 months, for example. Okay? So, yeah. Because if you said that, if you admit, then you may not land the job. Number 6, how much is your salary expectation? Tips and tricks to nail this question. This is actually the ones I've mentioned on set of this recording. So I changed my tips somehow. So if the question is how much, it means that the interviewer is asking for the exact figure you'd like to be given as an offer. Daming motor. So the second thing is you may mention an amount you'd like to be offered to you as a monthly salary, but make sure to do your own research first as to how much is the usual offer given in that company by asking a friend or someone who already works in that company. And lastly, if you believe that your skill set can earn up to maximum 25,000 and up, go for it. Just back it up with your reasons why you think you're capable of receiving that offer. This applies to both newbies and tenured agents, so learning to negotiate is an important skill. Okay, I agree with that. So you may negotiate, really. Especially for tenured agents, you have the right to do so. For newbies, you can. I did say something that asking for a 20,000 compensation is way too much in my previous video, but I am wrong, because you definitely can earn more than 20k if you really want to. Okay, question number 5. Do you have call center experience already? So this is a very basic question probably, but tips and tricks to nail this question is this. If you have an experience, say yes and back it up with necessary details about your experience. How long, what's your role, your achievements during that time, your learnings during your tenure. Okay, don't just say yes, I have call center experience. You have to elaborate a little bit, okay? And then if you don't have an experience yet, tell that your interviewer with all honesty and back it up with your eagerness and strong willingness to learn and grow as you go. So pardon guys, binabasa ko na lang, nagkakamali pa ako. Sorry na. Alright, question number 4. Why did you not apply in a job related to what you finished studying in college? Tips and tricks to nail this question is, if you didn't finish college, you may skip this part and tell your interviewer why you choose working in BPO versus working in your area of expertise. Cite the positive sides of working in this industry or share something relevant to this industry and the course you've chosen in college. Next, question number 3. What is your idea of a call center? We're almost done, guys. So tips and tricks to nail this part is, if you don't have any call center experience just yet, do yourself a favor by doing research about what the industry you're about to enter. A huge mistake you can make is to go to an interview not knowing what's the description of the job you're aiming to do. There are multiple resources online to learn about this. For example, YouTube, Google, TikTok, and even Facebook. Well, the second question is, why did you choose to apply in BPO industry? Tips and tricks to nail this question is, be honest why you prefer working in this industry among other types of work you could have chosen, but don't focus too much on the earning potential. You may mention instead the countless benefits you can get from working here. And then focus on the positive side of BPO industry can offer. Your interviewer will be smiling ear to ear if you do so. Just don't sound too too scripted. And the last question is the classic question: tell me something about yourself. So, tips and tricks to nail this question is this is a super common interview question and an icebreaker too. Make sure to compose an irresistible answer to this question. Sell yourself by showing them your highest potential, any degree you finished, any awards or recognition you received, or any promotion you acquire. And this can either make or break your interview. So if you need to compose an answer and memorize it, just so you can deliver it as best as you can, do it. Because all of the questions that I asked earlier is no good if you will not be able to proceed because you weren't able to answer this question properly. And that is it, you guys. I hope you've learned something from this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel, like this video, and share this to your friends as well who are about to apply in this industry. And also, guys, make sure to watch the first part of this video if you want to learn about my first tips before. Without said, this is me once again. Have a good day. Bye bye.